diversity in Minecraft's ecosystems is one of the greatest successes of the game, and nowhere is this seen more accurately than in its biomes. Today, my foxy friend Millie and I will be setting out across the map to build houses in as many of these biomes as possible. From icy glaciers, to serene fields, to sun-scorched canyons, buckle up as we go on this epic adventure. A wise man once said, "The world isn't in your books and maps, it's out there." And so what if that wise man was Gandalf? He had a point. And with our map, we are going to tackle the wide world out there, but first we need tools and hopefully a backpack. All right, so we have all of our sticks with which to hit things, and it looks like this village over here might have some hay bales, so let's go on through and borrow a few or all of those so that we can make some bread, because we cannot be losing time to starving to death. So let's see what they have to offer. Oh, there we go. We've got a few hay bales right here. I'll just take all of those. Thank you very much. And let's also save ourselves time by borrowing a bed, and let's see what else this village has to offer. Okay, we'll take the bread. I don't think we need the extra stuff there. Let's see what we've got in here. An unbreaking hoe, why not? We'll take some of these for decoration. Any chests? Nope. But there are some more hay bales. Let me just squeeze through here. Oh, and more hay bales. We'll borrow those. And let's check our last house. No chests in here. Okay, I still think we did pretty good. Can I please get out of here? Thank you. Oh, did not mean to do that. So I am usually pretty quick about this anyway, but I am going to progress through the tools much quicker than I usually would. We're shooting for diamonds specifically because once we get going, we won't be staying in one place for too long. So we're going to need tools that can keep up with us. Okay, we have all of our iron tools and iron armor. So let's get down into these caves. I guess technically I didn't have to get full iron armor because we are looking straight for diamonds, but you never know. I may not have got the diamonds. Always better to be over prepared than under prepared. So probably gonna just take a pass on this little area here and take the other direction. Ooh, I think I see a diamond. Hopefully it's more than one. Oh, it is. Okay, 1, 2, make it 3. Is it just the 2? It looks like it's just the 2, and ow, 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 ow. I knew that was coming. Okay, 2 diamonds. There are a lot of creepers down here. Is that another one? Okay, there is another diamond there, but we're gonna have to kill this creeper, and hopefully, actually, we get his backpack, and I forgot the ones with the backpack. Run. Wait, what happened to the one that was running? Oh, did it explode? What happened? Actually, what happened to it? Okay, let me please just get... Okay. Oh my goodness. That was stressful. So the backpack guy... Another diamond. But the backpack, another diamond. Okay, that's a lot of diamonds in one area. I'm not complaining, but that is strange. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, the backpack guy just disappeared. I think he got dealt with by his friend there or something. Not sure. But again, not really complaining, but a little bit complaining because I kind of needed that backpack. Okay, so we have a grand total of 12 diamonds, which is great because that means we have enough for a full diamond set of tools and a sword, which usually I don't do, but since we have the diamonds, why not? Oh my goodness, there are more diamonds over here, but let me just get rid of this guy and let's see what we've got. Cool. Okay, always good to have a few spare diamonds. I actually cannot believe there is another diamond right here. So we have a grand total of 9 extra diamonds, and I've made sure to pick up some extra iron and coal because you never know when you might need them. I'm just picking up some of these cobwebs here because we're going to need string to craft a backpack. I don't think I want to know what that is. Okay, I've taken the bait. It looks like some sort of mining structure. Probably from one of the mods. Can I get up here? I guess not. Let me just take this iron. But not entirely sure what it's from. Oh, okay. We've got some books. We always need those. I won't need that, but that's pretty cool. We'll take this just in case. What else have we got here? Oh my goodness, this is actually really handy. Oh, look at all that iron. Ooh. Okay, we don't really need it. I don't have big enough pockets right now. I need a backpack. Oh, but there's more stuff. More books. more iron. Guys, I don't think I'm going to need to get any more iron at all. Okay, we're back at the village and we have come for their cows because we need leather for the backpack. So first let's feed all of these cows so the village is not without. And then let's kill these cows. And now let's make ourselves a trap chest. Then let's put the chest in the middle. Add the string either side. Add the leather like this. And that should have been a backpack. Oh, that's right. I need to put 2 extra string here. And now we have a backpack. Okay, bags are packed. Millie is ready. And I think we can set out on our grand adventure. Over hill and over dale, I journeyed until we reached a sleepy, cozy plain drenched in sunlight. I started out by grabbing some wood, stone, moss, clay, and sandstone. I topped off my iron and coal and got to work. So let's start simple with the plains biome. Now, I quoted Gandalf way back when we started, which might give you a clue for the type of house that I'm going to be building here. That's right, a hobbit house. So essentially this one's just going to involve a lot of digging out to start with, so let's get that done. All right, we are definitely getting somewhere, but I obviously need to dig out sort of more into the side of this thing. So let's just dig this part here back. And to be honest, we might need to build up the top a little bit to actually make it a livable space because 3 blocks is not quite high enough. Okay, that should be good for now. Let's just put the front on this, and then I think maybe we will actually just dig it back a little bit because obviously this is not a lot of space. But like I said, let's just fill in this facade first and then we'll get to work on the extra digging. Okay, the inside is a little bit more dug out, but the outside is still looking very, very boring. So let's get some details on this thing. Let's strip these pieces of spruce and then let's add some spruce stairs in each of these corners to really get that circular hobbit house entrance vibe. Okay, that's good. Let's add the trapdoors. And let's also add in the stairs to create some circles around the windows here. Okay, I feel like it looks kind of weird having them all exactly the same, so maybe if we take out this corner piece here and then use our slabs here to fill in those gaps, it should look a little bit better. And now up here, let's add in a funky little... The word is on the tip of my tongue. Chimney. There we go. That's the word. Okay, I knew it began with C, but my brain was just empty on me for a second there. And it didn't really help that Millie was in my way. It definitely feels a bit weird doing details this quickly because obviously when I build a house, it usually takes me a little while, but this one is pretty simple. It also feels really weird knowing that realistically, once we're done with the details, that this is the last time that we're going to see this house. At least for a long time. Let's just add in these lanterns here and we have a cute little entrance, but we're still looking a little bit boring, so I think the devil really is going to be in the details for this one. So let's dig up this path a little bit so that we can place some coarse dirt and some pebbles just to make it look a little bit more like this space is actually intentional and not just a random hole cut into the side of this bit of grass. All right, now let's fill all of these gaps in. Is that coarse dirt? It is coarse dirt. Could you imagine if I was just filling that back in with normal dirt and then it all turned itself back into grass? That would be really frustrating. Anyways, let's get the rest of this coarse dirt in. And now that's done, let's add a few pebbles just to add a little bit of texture. See, even just adding that little bit of path has added such a difference. Added such a difference? I mean, made such a difference. But anyways, we're into the part that I know and love very well, which is cover the build in leaves. And honestly, when in doubt, cover it in leaves because it's still looking pretty bare, but I think once we get this thing covered in leaves, it should look really good. And also to add to the leafiness, I'm going to place a few oak saplings so that there's just a few trees surrounding the area. Now I've just got a crafting table, a barrel, and a chest just for a little bit of extra detail. And then I'm going to fill in all of these bald patches with a little bit of bone mealing, thanks to our rusty watering can. And with that, the Plains Hobbit house is complete. Now, Usually, you guys know I love doing interiors, but since I'm not going to be here for long, I don't really need an interior and I don't need to spend more time than necessary. Millie, if you could get in here, please, that would be great. So I am just going to put my bed down in this big open room and we're going to stay here for the night. And then, Millie, could you get in here, please? Thank you. And then we'll head out tomorrow for some more materials. All right, Millie, time to say goodbye to our lovely Plains house. We have got to keep moving because there is still so much of the world to see. Departing our lovely Plains, I carried on following the smell of the sea. Along the way, I grabbed wool, flowers, and various dyes. I then topped off all of my woods, stone, iron, coal, sandstone, and various plants. The beach. It really is lovely here. So the idea that I'm having for this biome is that we build a little fisherman shack. I'm thinking blues, greens, and all sorts of fish motifs. So let's see what we can come up with. But first, let's get the foundation of this thing done. So to fill in the foundation here, I'm gonna do 4 of that and then fill in the rest with our oak planks. Okay, oak planks done. Now let's fill in this andesite. All right, that's the foundation done. Let's get these frames up. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and then that is the grand total of 4, and then join them up at the top. Oh, I should probably make sure to mix these up a little bit so it doesn't look too liney. Okay, no, I think that looks okay. Maybe we'll swap out this one here for one of these, and then yeah, that looks a little bit better. Let's join these up, and let's also join this one up. Let's go along this line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did not mean to fall right then. Okay, sweet. That is the frame done. Now let's do the foundation for the second floor. So I'm just going to fill all of this in with oak planks and then we can build up the walls. For the walls of the second floor, I'm going to just do a little square of sandstone and then go back in and add in some extra details of these sandstone bricks. Then we just need to bring this up 1, 2, 3 and then build up all of the other walls, and then that should be our second floor finished, or at least the base of it. For the roof of the beach hut, I'm going to use slabs cascading over the build to create a less steep gradient, because I feel like that just fits the vibe of the fisherman hut way more than a tall, pointed roof. Something a bit more low and relaxed, like it's been weathered by the sea breezes and salty air. I don't know, I just feel like it makes sense for the setting. Alright, it is detail time for this build. I think I'm going to want to try for a dock to go with it so that our hypothetical fisherman has somewhere to fish off of. But first, I gotta get some windows and just some extra details on the actual house. All right, we are looking good. Let's finish off this dock. So first, let's just add in some stairs here so that we actually have a way down. And then, is this the correct level? It is. We've just got to fill in between these posts. Or do we want to go on top of the posts? No, I think on top is way too far. I just said way too far and I meant way too high, but I'm sure you guys knew what I meant. Okay, that's the base of our dock done. Let's add in some trapdoors for details on top of these posts. And let's add in some of these fence gates for details along the sides. Then I have this really cute little fish barrel. Actually, I think I want to have that facing more like upwards. And now we can move on to the other details. And for the first step of the extra details, we are going to be covering the roof in leaves, something we have literally never done before. In fact, I don't think anybody's ever done this to a build ever before. It's just a completely original idea and it's going to be life-changing. I always say that really sarcastically, but adding the leaves on everything really does make a huge difference. But let's add some flower pots to each of the windows because this is how we're going to get our blues and our greens added, with the leaves and the flowers. We also can't forget to add in our vines as well as our flower boxes up on the second floor. Do I want to get rid of this leaf to add another flower box? I think we're good. And now those are added, I can add in a couple of these blue and green banners just to add even more of that blue and green theme that we're going for. Okay, we are looking really, really cute so far. I just want to add in some of these, I think they're walls. Yep, they are called walls. Just add a little bit of extra detail, and oh my gosh, that just looks so cute looking out over the water. And at Millie swimming. She's been swimming for a long time. I do often wonder if she needs help, but I think she's also fine. Anyways, I don't think this would be a complete beach house without a couple of sun lounges and a couple of tables. Oh, maybe we should move that back here. No, maybe just give them a little bit of space and put them one block out. Okay, yeah, that works. Actually, let me put them right next to the chair again. Then let's put in a couple pieces of rope and then an umbrella. I don't know if that's going to be a bit too short. Maybe we should bring that up a bit. I do have the rope for it, so yeah. Let's take this off. Is one more tall enough? I feel like one is tall enough, but we do need to go up one to be able to place it. That looks so relaxing. So at the end of my larger area builds, I always like to add in paths to tie everything together. So similarly, I'm gonna add a mini pathway coming from this house, just something small to make it feel intentional. Like this house wasn't just plonked down randomly, but rather placed with care and consideration for the whole vibe. Because it absolutely was. Little details like this really help make the whole area feel cozy and lived in. Well, Millie, it is time to keep going. But don't worry, we aren't completely saying goodbye to the sea. We're just going somewhere colder. Leaving the bright beach with a bunch of sand tucked in my bag, we headed north to colder climates. Along the way, I picked up more wood and blue dye. Then I grabbed some deep slate and some snow before getting back to work. Okay, so ice spikes. This one should be really fun. I think for this one we're going to employ our first custom tree, but don't worry, that's not a right now problem. Right now, we got to show you guys what kind of house we're going to make here. All right, I feel like we all have a good idea of what's going on now. Let's get building. So for this one, we are obviously going for a wintry cabin type vibe. So I'm building up the walls to look like a bunch of huge interlocking logs. Kind of like a classic log cabin, but on a slightly more dramatic scale, I would say. I want it to feel super sturdy and super cozy, like it's ready to survive the chilliest blizzard while still looking super cute in the snow. Let's just finish off these walls slash frame before the sun goes down, then we'll take a quick nap and then add in the floor. Okay, actually, it felt like the sun was going down a lot quicker than it was, or a lot sooner than it was, so we definitely have enough time to get most of this floor put down tonight. And just as that moon is coming up, let's add in these slabs on the front. And this feels like the most appropriate place to see the northern lights right now. How gorgeous is that? I feel like I definitely need some sort of bench out here to just sit and look at these. Oh my goodness. Anyways, let's go to the safety of our open top house and take a nap so that we can carry on with this tomorrow. So for the roof, we're doing a little mix and match of these deep slate blocks. It should already look super duper cute as is, but once we've got the base done, we can go back in and add in some snow and really sell that snowy cabin look. Just a little dusting here and there to make it feel like it's been sitting cozy in the winter for a while. I definitely don't want to cover it too much because otherwise it will just blend in with the surroundings, but just a tiny bit of snow will make it look so adorable. See what I was saying? The snow on the roof just looks so cute. So let's try and get back in here. I'm gonna have to place something, aren't I? And probably not that. Something that I can actually climb. All right, our interiors are looking lovely as always. Let's get some details on this thing. I feel like these glass panes are really fitting the vibe here. I don't know what it is about them. I've actually never been to a snowy cabin, so I don't know, but they look correct. And we have a couple windows up here, so let's build our way up, and then we can just, oh, we could not run off of the supports there, and we could place the windows. We're definitely looking a little bit flat out here, so I'm just going to build up and add in some of these palisades to add a little bit of extra just texture and dimension on the outside. Then I definitely made too many buttons for this, but I am going to add buttons just to the end of each of these, just to add more to it, basically. Oh, I'm going to have to jump down into the snow. You know what? I don't know why it hurts to fall into snow. I feel like it should be maybe kind of like water where it doesn't hurt at all, but also maybe hurts a little bit. Because I feel like if you jumped into snow from a high height, as long as it's like pretty soft snow, you'd be fine. Maybe it already does do less damage and I'm just not realizing. It's definitely looking like we need some more detail around the front here. So I'm just going to add in a couple of those. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then add in some trapdoors here. Then let's add in another couple campfires on top of this window, and then a couple of these fence gates to make it look like they're supported. And I guess let's also join these up with the rest of these fence gates. So now this is sort of our official entrance, and then we'd come through here, blah, 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 and then we're out on the balcony looking out at the northern lights if it was nighttime. I'm just going to place down these benches so that we have somewhere to actually sit and look out at the lovely, lovely view. This view. But now it is time to build our ice tree. I've decided to call it a snow blossom tree, so Mojang, if you want to add that to Minecraft, please do. I think it'd be so cute, and I guess you could take credit for it, but it would be pretty cool if they did add something like that to Minecraft. All right, that is the tree trunk done. Sorry, I completely forgot what that was called for a second. Let's build upwards a little bit, and then we can start adding in our glass leaves, which obviously I would be using ice normally, but I don't have silk touch, so glass will have to do. So I'm just going to bring this out and mix up the light blue and the normal blue stained glass. And then on top of the glass, I'm going to add in some snow just to make it look, well, more realistic, because it's obviously been snowing around here. And with that, our snow blossom tree is finished. How adorable does that look? And also, how cozy does this cabin look? And speaking of cozy, the sun is going down, so let's head inside, grab a quick nap, and then we'll be heading out tomorrow. All right, Millie, it's been fun here, but we have to move on. Onwards, and well, upwards. With the snow at my heels, we headed west into the misty mountains, picking up wood, leaves, and stone along the way. I pitched my camp and topped off my iron, coal, food, and sand before we could start building. Welcome to the windswept peaks of Minecraft Mountains. I have a couple thoughts of how I want to do this build, but I think I've settled on a really cool design. Here, take a look. All right, plan set. Materials ready. And Millie taking a nap as always. So let's get started on this house. I'm going to build up this frame first, and then I'm going to start digging into the mountain to build the rest after I clear some of this dirt. All right, frame time. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then run over to this side. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then join these two pieces up, and then bring this back and strip it all. Okay, actually, I'm gonna bring it up one more because I forgot that I was gonna be digging into the side of this. Now that the frame's done, I have the lovely task of digging out this whole area. So let's get to it. So now that's all done, let's add a front to our house. So let's just bring these up a little bit. And then let's add in some stone brick stairs. Oh, actually, let's bring out this platform first. And that's our little porch done. So let's fill it in the front here. Let's leave a little hole for some windows. And of course, a gap for the doors. Okay, around the edge of the wall, let's do a little mix of these different types of cobblestone bricks. And then fill in the rest with spruce planks. All right, let's get the rest of these walls and the floor filled in. Okay, that's pretty much the base done. Now we've got to get up here and add in the rest of it. So let's bring this up. 1, 2, and then we'll go 1, 2, and then there should be 3 that side, and then 3 that side. Okay, we're looking good. Let's bring this up and then join these up and make sure they are all stripped to match the rest of this place. All right, here is how we're looking. We better get up there and add a roof to this thing. So I obviously want this to look integrated with the mountain, so I'm not going to get rid of any of this dirt right here. I'm just going to keep building the roof into it, and wherever the dirt stops, I stop. Or wherever the dirt starts, I stop, sorry. And I think actually I'm gonna have to bring these little posts out a little bit more, because otherwise it's just gonna blend in with everything else. Let's also add a couple of those here. Do I need to strip them? I think I do. Okay, posts are added. Let's finish off this roof. All right, that is looking pretty good. Let's add some details to our little porch area. So let's do a couple fences here and then join that up with some stone brick wall and top it off with some dark oak trapdoors. Then let's give ourselves a couple windows. And let's add some of my favorite details, leaves. And obviously you may have guessed by now, but I am going to go up on the roof and cover this entire thing. Well, not the entire thing, but you know, sort of thing I usually do. All right, let's just add this final lantern here. And that is pretty much the main structure complete. How cute is that? I am going to go in and add some more details to the house, but first I want to dig into the side right here and create a fake mine shaft. Since we're way up in the mountains, it definitely feels appropriate for this house to have its own dedicated mine entrance. Like, whoever lives here is either a miner or just really prepared for winter resource runs. Either way, I feel like it's all about those little touches that make the build feel believable and lived in. Okay, we've got all of the supports up, so I'm just going to extend this dirt here so that we don't really have to put a roof on the thing. And now let's just smooth it out a little back here to make it look a little bit more intentional. Okay, that is looking pretty cute. Let's just add in a few extra details here with some barrels and some crafting tables and a chest. All right, I would say that is our mine entrance done. Now back to the house. So I'm just gonna build up here and add in a big window in this area here because it definitely looks a little bit strange not having anything up here. Then between these two gaps here, let's add in some of that just for extra detail, and then a couple trapdoors and some fences either side of the windows. Let's also put a couple of these here. And let's get down here to add some fences all the way down the sides here. Now let's finish this off so that we have a nice little chimney. And that is our mountain house finished. This is very cute, but it is time to say goodbye, so Millie, let's go. After passing through the mountains, the air warmed and soon I found myself in the jungle. Sunlight filtered through the trees as I gathered woods, bamboo, stone, and moss before settling in to build. I feel like I may have said this before, but I will say it again. Jungles are my favorite biomes. They are so green and so dense, and they just feel mysterious. Anyways, let's show you the plan for this house. And now we have the plan for a house just as mysterious and magical as this biome. Let's get a move on and get it built. Okay, so that's our supports done. Now let's fill this in with some planks. Once we've got this foundation done, it should be pretty smooth sailing because there will be less chance of us falling from the tree again. All right, now for the walls. So we're gonna go 3 along each of these sides right here, and then build up the sides with the other bamboo blocks that we have right here. Okay, now that's done, we can join these parts up with all of these windows. Ooh, how are we gonna do this? I guess we're gonna have to go like that. Does that work? I feel like that works, right? I don't know. We'll see when we put the roof on if that works or not. Okay, that is the walls pretty much done. Let's bring this out a bit to build up the roof. Okay, yeah, we're pretty much just following like the contour of what we've already built here. So building up this edge of the roof should be pretty easy now. All right, I'm planning to do like a little bridge over here. So I've opened that part up and I've opened this part up so that we have a way up and down. So now let's add in some extra details on these corners with these fences. Then we're going to travel around the outside here and add in some spruce fences. I probably should have done this before I added the top in the windows and whatnot because it would have been a lot easier, but never mind. And now that's all done, let's build up this roof. So I'm pretty much just going to do the same as what I've done with the outline and follow what we've already done and just keep building it up 1 extra layer each time. Alright, the roof is done and I truly have no idea what this house is looking like so far, but I am going to start building out the bridge to the other tree here. I think I'm gonna have to go down to the floor to be able to create the little dip that I want, but for now, let's just do a straight across bridge and then we'll deal with that detail afterwards. Okay, sweet. That's our little mini bridge done. Now let's add in some safety fences over here. And just because we are in a dense jungle does not mean this build is immune to me covering the roof in leaves. So let's get that done. All right, the leaves are added and I've just realized that these are not pink because of the sun. I think they're tall acacia trees, which is really crazy. It must be part of the Terralift mod because obviously that is not normal. Okay, I think that is our little tree house finished. Obviously very simple, but very cute as always. Now where is my vine to get down? Okay, so you may have noticed this jungle temple right here, and A, I want the loot from it, and B, I think we can give it a little TLC in space of giving the jungle house extra details. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm clearly going for it, so let's do this. Gotta be super careful because there's usually tripwires and stuff, right? I think if I break these, I should be fine. I don't know, or maybe I needed those to open some doors or something. I can't say that this is something I do often. Are there no tripwires? What's going on? Ah, there's one. Okay, why is this so tense? Can I open this from here? I'm kind of scared about what this redstone is going to, so let me just pick up all of that. Well, I guess we don't need the loot from in here. But these are opening something. Is that above me or is that round here? Ah! That was sneaky. Okay, I think it's opening up stairs somewhere. Is it? Am I going crazy? What is that opening? I'm just gonna break this and presume there is something behind here. Oh, and there is. Where was that opening to? Oh, it was just a hole in the ground. Okay, anyways. Oh, a couple diamonds. That's good because we need to repair our tools, although I do have some spare diamonds still, but still, that was great. So now back to revamping this jungle temple, and I'm gonna keep it reasonably minimalist because we've been here a while already, and we still have so much more to do and see. All right, that's our little stairway up. Now I'm thinking we add a little row of this all the way around the bottom. Then in this gap, I'm going to use these pillar blocks to just add a little bit of extra texture. Now let's add a couple campfires and then surround them with spruce trapdoors. And I think I'm going to add some more of these right here. Okay, now that the entrance is pretty much done, I'm just going to run around and add some of these cobblestone walls to each of these posts. Then I'm thinking we make this bit up here look a little bit more detailed by just adding in stairs instead of just having it as full blocks. Just creates more of a shallow gradient, a steep gradient, I think actually would be. Wait, is that what I'm looking for here? Is that what I'm trying to say? Who knows? I'm sure you guys know what I'm trying to say though. And I think the only thing left to do here is to subject this build to being covered in leaves. I mean, I can't just cover one in leaves and not this one. It doesn't make sense. It's just everything should be covered in leaves. This is a very leafy biome. And that is our jungle temple transformation complete. As you can see, we just added a few extra details to it, but it did make such a difference. We did stay here a little longer than the last couple of places, but that's okay because I love jungles and I love jungle temples. And I'm super glad that we got to build the house and revamp the jungle temple. But Millie and I have got to keep moving. The jungle trees grew sparser until the jungle turned to plains, which turned to Savannah. I milled about gathering wood, dirt, iron, coal, and more food. I also gathered some stuff to repair my tools. Acacia wood used to be my least favorite wood, and I think a lot of people can definitely relate to that. But this time, she's gonna be the star. So welcome to the Savannah build. I feel like this one is going to be really fun, and I will say coming up with different styles and vibes for each build has definitely been a little bit of a challenge, but a fun one. So let's get this foundation finished. All right, that is the outline done. Now let's dig out the floor so that we can place a floor. Let's dig out the dirt so that we can place a wooden floor. I am pretty excited to see how this one turns out since we're doing a circular build, but I'm also pretty glad that I'm not doing the interiors for this video because circular houses are really difficult to work with. Okay, that's the area dug out. Now let's fill it in. I definitely don't have that much of a problem with the acacia planks. Honestly, I quite like the orange tone that they have, and they can actually work pretty nicely with the right color palette and add a nice unique pop of color to a build. My main beef though is with the logs. I just don't really like the gray wood, and gray wood just feels incorrect. Like, it's trying to be something it's not. It throws me off every time, and it's so tricky to match with anything else without it looking weirdly washed out. That being said, I am incorporating the acacia logs in this build despite my feelings because I want it to really fit in with the biome. And even if the grey wood and I aren't besties, it does help the build feel like it actually belongs here, and sometimes that's more important than personal preference. Okay, nice. That is all of the walls up. So now let's get back onto the roof and build the outline for our roof. I'm just realizing this is our second circular house. I completely forgot that the jungle house was circular too. Okay, that is our roof filled in. Now let's run around and add in some of these acacia planks. And then let's top these off with the other kind of acacia planks we have from the chipped mod. Then let's run around again and add in our acacia logs just to bring that gray color up a little bit because it is very much just down here. And then we can grab our jungle planks and fill in the roof of this top bit. Okay, sweet. This is definitely a funky looking house, but let's get to work on the details. Let's see how cute we can make this thing. It's definitely like a mini challenge, especially with the acacia wood. I feel like those fences have made it look a little bit better and more interesting because it is breaking up the gray a little bit. On these corners here though, I'm gonna have to add in these window blocks because obviously corners are very difficult to place panes in, but I do have acacia window panes for the normal shaped windows. Now let's add some lighting to each of our fence posts here. And then can you guess what we're gonna do with the roof? That's right, let's cover this thing in leaves. And that has genuinely made this build look so much better already. So I already added in this little dirt path, but it is looking very empty all around the house. It's not really giving Savannah. So I'm gonna add in a bunch of these acacia saplings just to surround the house, and then hopefully it'll just make it look like a little bit more of a curated area than just a random house plonked in the middle of a Savannah plains. And just like that, we have a completed Savannah home. Okay, so there are a few edible animals around, not the horse, sorry. So I think it would be a good idea to just grab a few pieces of meat because we have been eating bread for a really long time now. Oh, this part of the Savannah is looking a little bit crispy. Could probably do with maybe a bit of rain or something. Oh, what is that? Oh, that is the sign telling me that there is a village nearby. So maybe we could go check that out too. I almost hit Millie then thinking that she was a pig. That would have been very bad. What is that? Oh, that's flowers. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think those are onions. Oh, no. Wait, those are onions. I knew it would be. All right, so we are back at the house and I was going to move on, but then I spotted this little bit of rock right here and I do have some leftover materials and I think it would make a pretty cool mine shaft opening. Obviously, we're not about to build an entire mine shaft, but just like we did with the mountain house, I'm gonna create a false mine entrance, just enough to sell the idea, add a bit of story to the build, and make the area feel a bit more alive and purposeful. It does feel very strange building a house and then just immediately leaving. I'm so used to building just like huge, big areas where everything is just sort of the same style. So this is definitely a challenge for me. Okay, I think that's pretty much our first platform done. So now let's add in a few stairs up here and then let's take out a few pieces of this dirt so that we can place down some jungle slab. Now let's build up these sides. I think 4 is probably enough. And then let's add in a roof. Since this is on a corner, I'm going to try to do like a little zigzag situation so that it's not just like a weirdly wide pointy square, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, that is looking pretty cool. So now let's get up here and add in some details. I'm gonna add in a barrel right here. Then let's do crafting table and chest. And then up here, let's do barrel, barrel, chest. And then crafting table, chest, barrel. And you may be thinking, as a mineshaft opening, we're probably not going to cover this thing in leaves. And you would be wrong, because that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. Only a little bit though, just to make it look like it's, I don't know, just has a bit more detail going on. And just like that, our Savannah house and our mine entrance is complete. We've got just enough time to run inside and grab a quick nap. But then it is time to move on to our next space. Millie, if you could get in here, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Let's place our bed down. Good night. Eventually, savanna grass morphed into sand, and I found myself with sights set on the desert dunes. Along the way, I gathered more wood, mud, moss, azaleas, coal, iron, and dirt. Once I arrived in the desert, I picked up some sandstone and settled in. Welcome to the sandy dunes that make up the deserts of the world. Would you like to see what kind of build we have in store for this one? Yes? Brilliant. So that's our build. We do need to get to it though. We are getting so close to the end of our journey and we cannot give up now. Okay, that is our outline done, and I know it looks a little bit crazy right now, but trust me, it will all make sense in the end. I'm just getting rid of this extra bit of sand right here so that we can place down some jungle planks as flooring. And I'm going to do the same in this little square because this is also going to be part of the main house. And you guessed it, the next step is to fill the floor back in with our wood. And now that's done, let's build up the wall. So we've gone up 3 there, and then I think we'll go like that, and then hopefully that should... Oh, actually I think it's more like that. Okay, that should work. Let's add in our other stairs right here, and then fill in this little area here with just normal sandstone. I've got a feeling there must have been some kind of mob that has spawned inside the temple and has just exploded itself, but that doesn't look like it's been exploded. Oh, but that definitely does. Oh wait, what if it was Millie? Oh no. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Okay, phew. Millie is over here taking a swim, so it must have just been a very unfortunate mob that exploded the temple loot, which is not ideal, but as long as it's not me that exploded, I'm happy about it. Anyways, let's get back to building up these walls. Okay, that's the base of the house pretty much done, but it is looking very boring. So let's get up here and make it all cute. Let's start by getting rid of this seam here so that it makes it look like this is much more put together. And then let's add a wall around this part and actual walls around this part. I'm also going to go ahead and add in walls around the stairs here because this is pretty dangerous otherwise, I feel like. Oh, and maybe we could take out this corner and replace it with one of those. Yeah, okay, I like that. Let's also add some walls along here and walls along here. Okay, that is already looking a little bit better, but now let's get up here and add in some canopies that we're going to use some campfires and leaves on. So I'm just going to go across these right here with the campfires. Let's do 1, 2, and then we'll do a leaf here. Jump up on the leaf and then add a campfire here. Okay, that's probably enough leaves right there. Let's add in some campfires to fill in the gaps here. Okay, that looks super cute. Now let's just add in another one of those right here. So we'll go up 1, 2. And that should be good. Let's grab a quick nap and then we'll finish that off tomorrow. So up here, we're going to go all the way across with the campfires here. Let's make sure to put those out before we stand on them. And then let's also join those up this side. Then let's do leaf, leaf, campfire, leaf, campfire. And then we can pretty much just place these back leaves anywhere. Oh, I can't reach over there. So let's do some campfires right here. Put them out. Maybe a leaf, maybe a couple more campfires. Okay, those canopies are definitely making it look a lot better. So now let's go over here and add in, I guess, kind of a canopy over this part here and make sure to put those out. Can I get to the middle one? Of course I can't. Now let's add our spruce fence and then bring that out so it's nicely supported. And I think that's good for canopies. So now we can go ahead and add in our door and our windows. And I'm thinking we could probably get away with doing some sort of fancy wall detail back here. Not really anything that has like any rhyme or reason, just a little bit of an extra detail. Okay, that's looking pretty nice. Now it's time to cover this thing in leaves, but this time we're not covering the roof because we already have the canopy with the leaves. We are just going to be adding leaves everywhere else instead. All right, that is leaves placed. Let's place our lighting. So we'll do a lantern here and then, actually, I guess we could get away with building some extra lanterns on the edges here. So let's do just a couple fences right here and then hang the lanterns from those. Ooh, actually, let's get rid of that and then maybe just have one. I don't think that it looks good having one each side. Okay, next I'm gonna put one of those right here. We'll do one like that, and then I think we could get away with doing one up in this corner as well. Okay, that should be lighting done. Let's add in a flower pot right here, and then maybe a couple just hanging from these. And I think we could probably get away with hanging one here, and then maybe just placing one on top of here. Will it let me do that? Guess not. That's really annoying. I guess I'm just gonna have to settle for one of these pots right there. How are we looking? Okay, yeah, that looks really cute. Let's get some flowers in these pots. We're definitely looking pretty good now, and we are almost there, but I'm just gonna add in some extra coarse dirt and some packed mud for these pathways just to make it look like this area is a little bit more intentional. I would say that is our desert house done, but I am gonna just go along the side here and add a little custom palm tree because I just feel like it fits the area really nicely. And there we go. I feel like that's just made the area feel a little tiny bit cuter. So obviously we have the desert temple right here and we transformed the jungle temple. So I feel like we can't not transform this. I mean, like, what if the jungle temple feels left out because it got changed and this one didn't? Okay, fine. I'll transform this one too. So like with the jungle temple, I'm not going to go too crazy transforming the desert temple. I just want to add a few extra touches to make it look a little bit more interesting. Nothing too dramatic, just some small upgrades to give it a bit more character while still keeping that classic temple vibe intact. Okay, that is our first step complete and it's not looking much different right now, but now we're gonna run in, oh, actually, let me take out these parts because I want to replace those with moss, but I am gonna cover this thing in leaves. Surprise, surprise. That's already looking loads better. I am gonna add a little bit more later, but for now, I'm just gonna create a little thing right here and do the same on the other side. Then I'm gonna build up right here and knock out this block. And then place some water so we have a little watering fall going on. Watering fall? Waterfall even. Then obviously let's do the same on the other side. Now that's done, I'm gonna hop up onto these roof bits here and bone meal all of the moss so that we can get some stuff growing on it and hopefully a few azaleas like that one there. Oh, we need to go get some water for our watering can. So we're definitely looking very leafy right now, so let's add in some walls because I feel like this is gonna be something that really just changes it up a little bit more than we already have. Now I'm just filling in this pathway here with our packed mud to match our little house area, and I think we should be good with the temple. Ah! Jump scare. And there we have it, a more alive and transformed jungle temple. With another area complete, it is time to move on to our next and final biome. The yellow dunes transformed to brilliant reds and oranges as I traveled south and hit the Badlands. Along the journey, I managed to top off my wood, mud, dirt, stone, and dyes. Then I gathered terracotta and bricks. What better biome to round this out than the biome that reminds me of the sunset? The Badlands biome. Come here and let me show you what I'm cooking up for this one and let me know what you think. So now that you all know my plan, let's get this foundation sorted. This is definitely a little bittersweet. It's always nice to complete a project, but there's also that tiny bit of sadness when something you've spent so long working on is starting to come to an end. That being said, I do still have quite a bit of work left to do before we officially wrap things up here, so let's get that finished before we start mourning the end of the build. That is our foundation done. Let's just add some stairs so that we can actually get up to the build, and then a couple bricks here, and we are looking good. For the walls of the ground floor, I'm going to use terracotta. That way it really blends in with the rest of the area. But don't worry, I'm going to add some extra colors so that it doesn't completely blend in to the point of being invisible. I'm also just going to fill in all of these walls and then go back in and punch out a few holes for windows, just because I think that's going to be easier this way, especially with something like terracotta that is a pretty flat texture. For the second floor here, I'm going to go across 5 with the purple color here, which is actually blue terracotta, but it is definitely purple. And then this bit, we're going to do smooth sandstone. And for the sandstone, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I lied. We're going up 6. And then on the purple, we're going up 5. Okay, nice. Let's get to work on placing all of the walls here. And hopefully we can get this done before the sun goes down. Although it doesn't really matter. Is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's not. Let's add another layer to this and then we can get to work on the purple blocks. Which means that's only 4. Oh wait, no, it's 5. Oh, I forgot that this was already a layer. Okay, no, I actually have to go back up and get rid of that layer that I just added. I said I wanted to get this done before the sun went down and then just started making loads of mistakes that are delaying me even further. So that is definitely looking a bit strange, but trust me, it's gonna look fine once we're done. So let's get back up here and add in a little bit of a roof, and I'm gonna do a mix of mud brick slabs and jungle slabs. Now let's run back around and just fill in this extra piece here, and we should be good for our first part of the roof. And as you can imagine, for the roof up here, we're gonna do the same kind of thing where we just keep it super simple, run around the edge with our slabs, and then also do the same thing for the second layer and the third layer until eventually we meet in the middle. There we go. Still looking a bit strange, but definitely a lot better with a roof. So this is now our last round of details, so let's make it count. Okay, that is all of our windows added in. Let's add in some of these shutters to the windows to just add some extra details. I also have a bunch of these oak trapdoors, which I think will look nice just to break up this whole color situation here, and then also some spruce fences to just tie those two pieces together. 2 types of terracotta, I mean. Let's also add in some spruce there and also some of these shutters. And let's add in some brick walls and eventually some leaves around this base part. I think that's probably it for the house. It's definitely a little bit different to what I would usually build. It kind of reminds me of the solar punk houses that I built. But yeah, I think it's really cute. It's really simple and easy to make, so it would make a great build for this biome. I'm just adding in these fences around here to make it look like this area is sort of more intentional. I feel like I say intentional so many times per video. But I do just want to make it look more like there's an area here rather than just a house, if that makes sense. So the fences are done. Let's fill in our little pathway here with packed mud. So for our final detail here, I feel like it's totally appropriate to add a little water tower next to the house, since we're in the Badlands and all. It definitely just makes sense for the setting, adds a nice touch of realism, and helps sell that dusty off-the-grid vibe. Plus, it is a super cute way to round out the build and give it that final bit of charm. So that's our little stilts finished. Now we're gonna add in our actual bit where the water will be. So just adding these stairs upside down like this, and then we're going to do a little mix of barrels and composters to create a bit of texture up here. And to be honest, I feel like we could probably get away with another layer of this and then top it off with some stairs. And just like that, our final build is complete. Thinking back on our travels in this video, from the peaceful meadow to the harrowing peaks and glaciers, fiery deserts, scorched badlands, serene beaches, and expansive savannas, we trekked the far reaches of the map and not only survived, but thrived in each of those locations. My name is Em, this is Millie, and you have all been amazing. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!